We could get an old school Pac-12 showdown between Arizona and Oregon, or will we? BYU VCU, that's tremendous offense
Oof.
against a fantastic defense. I think that might be the best first-round game in this region. St. Mary's Vandy, that's fascinating because here you have Randy Bennett going up against the upstart Byingtons and the Commodores, and what do they do? Making it back to the NCAA tournament. But then there's Alabama at the bottom, and it just felt like Rob Doster, out of the four regions, when looking at this, the top two seeds are aligned to potentially be on a crash course to New Jersey. Do you agree or disagree?
I actually don't agree. I think I have. So here's my hottest take is I think BYU is going to be in the Elite Eight here. I think that Wisconsin might have gotten the worst draw out of anybody in the NCAA tournament this year. I think that they have very real reason to kind of be frustrated with how this schedule played out, and here's why. They played 4 games in 4 days. The last game that they played in the Big Ten tournament was the last game that was played before the Selection Sunday show started. They were on CBS before the Selection Sunday show started. They have to fly home from Madison or from Indianapolis to Madison, then fly from Madison to Denver. They'll be playing at altitude in Denver, and they play the 3rd game of the NCAA tournament. They play at 1:30 on Thursday, which will be 11:30 a.m. local time after arriving from Madison after playing a game on Sunday to end 4 games in 4 days. And to top it all off, they'll be playing at altitude against a Montana team that lives at altitude. And if they win, they'll probably, and then they're going to be playing. If they win, they very well could end up getting BYU in the second round of the tournament, who is playing or is coming from Salt Lake, which is a much easier travel than coming from Madison to get to Denver. You know there will be plenty of BYU fans there. And BYU, oh, by the way, in Salt Lake, they also play at altitude. So if I'm Wisconsin, I'm like, what is going on? How did I end up with this bracket, with this draw, playing at this time, these teams in that region, in that location? I think Wisconsin gets picked off in the second round of the tournament. I like BYU to the Elite Eight.
McCall?
I mean, that was a lot of analysis there, Rob Doster. I mean, that like with the altitude and everything, there's so much going on. But I can't disagree with you. I agree. I agree. I'm interested to see the VCU BYU game because I'm high on this VCU group, and I'm not trying to be an A10 homer because I cover the league, but Max Shulga and his size and his ability to play and pick and roll. He had 11 assists in their quarterfinal matchup the other night. They win the league. They cut the nets down today against a good George Mason team. Zeb Jackson comes off the bench. His athleticism. I'm anxious to see that matchup. Like that I'm with Rob. Like that's one of the more intriguing ones, just in terms of styles of play. VCU, doesn't matter who the head coach of VCU is, they're going to guard, they're going to defend, they're going to play hard, they're going to be aggressive on pick and roll coverage, they're going to pick up full court, they're going to do all these things. And then you have BYU that's going to space the floor out and play out of concepts like baseline drive. Does someone get to the drift? The pass comes, one more extra pass for a wing three. Like that matchup. I'm with Rob in terms of two. I think this is a kind of a walk for Duke to get to the Sweet 16. It's lining up that way. But the altitude, Rob. Man, talk about a guy that I'd hedge my bets with. Maybe in Vegas, I'm gonna lean on you because that's you picking the altitude right now. I get it, and I agree with you.
I think I'm going to title this region the region of stars, with the main superstar being Cooper Flagg and his status and his health being so centric to the whole tournament. With Alabama having a guard who, when he's on, is as good as any guard in the country in Mark Sears. And now, can Mark Sears pen another run to a Final Four? Okay, you continue. How about John Tonje? Could he take over this region? Like, let's put the positive spin on. Could he be out for a vengeance, be pissed off? I sometimes like the team that lost in their conference tournament final because I think it's just in their DNA to say we're not going to lose again. And I thought Wisconsin defended Michigan well today. Like, if you look at the numbers, they made Wolf and Golden's life difficult for a good portion of the day. It's just Donaldson hit a huge three late, and Michigan didn't miss their free throws. Okay, so I'm not done with the stars. The most polarizing star in the tournament, Carolina Caleb. Can Caleb Love and the real Arizona show up? Will they make a run? There you go. And that's where my upset is. I am going with the Akron Zips on the Mid-American. Give me John Gross. Give me
John
Akron.
Gross.
I like
John
Mac Jones
Gross.
on the big dance floor. I like the Johnsons who lead that team. They're really efficient offensively. They can score it in bunches. That team, if you're not paying attention, America, the MAC produces upset candidates. They're 28-6. Nate Johnson is an absolute stud. He and Tavari Johnson both get it done in a big way. They have, let's see, 7 guys averaging at least 7 points per game. That's what I like in a team. And guess what? They're top 20 in tempo. So they won't be phased when the Arizona guards try to take off and create it. My biggest concern is just keep Tobe Awaka off the offensive glass. But, you got Josh Hubbard in Mississippi State. You got Yegor Demon. Like, if you like draft prospects, VJ Edgecombe and Baylor. Like, there's draft prospects. There's superstars. There's All-Americans. The East region is the region of stars. McCall's got Akron as an upset pick. Dalstra, do you have an upset in here?
I mean, BYU getting to the Elite Eight is the one that I like the most. I think I like Arizona beating Akron. I think Arizona's floor is much higher with the way that they've started to defending. I like Liberty to be able to knock off.
Don't do
Oregon.
that to me, Dalstra. You're going to take mine.
All right, go ahead. Tell me why. Go ahead. I'll give it to you. I'll let you take it.
No, I mean, Liberty, man, like what this team does, like they beat a good College of Charleston team, right? They knocked off McNeese State. When you look at I'm talking about their non-conference. I mean, Richie McKay and the job that he's done there. I mean, I got Liberty beating Oregon. I have some question marks about Oregon. I do. I know how good Biddle is and like on the inside, on the outside, but this is a team that, has had some ups and downs. I like Liberty. I like Liberty to win that game. I really do. Of all the 5-12 games and the 5-12 matchups, I think that's the one to pick. I'm with you, Rob. I mean, the balance on the offensive end of the floor for this team, they have 28 wins. They've proven they can beat some teams in the non-league. I mean, everyone is talking about McNeese State. I mean, they beat McNeese. Liberty did. So I'm with you. I think that's the one. That's the 5-12 upset. And now it probably won't happen because we're all picking it. But that's the 5-12 for me, Liberty over Oregon.
I trust Dana Altman too much. I just do. I think the way that they can mix up defensive coverages with Barthélemy and Shellstad and Biddle on the interior. I've got Oregon in my Sweet 16. So that just shows you it's that kind of night. That just shows you. Yeah.
Is that Richie McKay?
Yeah, that was Richie McKay calling me. He's got he's ready to beat Oregon. And,
he feels good about the matchup. He feels good.
We should have coaches just. I'm sure that some people are tuning. Some coaches tune into some of this at some point when they're finally done watching a crap ton of video. They watch it because they want to show it to their teams. Like Hubert Davis openly admitted to Jeff Goodman that he used Goodman's criticism of his team, and they ended up making the Final Four. So all this week we're going to say that this is what we know, and then on Friday we're going to be like, yeah, Randolph Childress really doesn't know anything. No, I'm just kidding.